Welcome to the Twin Flame Abundance Live. Well, this is an interesting experience today. This is going to be the first. I think for everything needs to be a first. And this is going to be the first YouTube Twin Flame Abundance Live that I did not start on time. So, yeah, I don't know what happened. It was a very interesting experience. It seemed like I was totally in another space, and that is because I am every day. I think this is why it is every day at this moment. I am spending a little bit of time writing a new book, and it is called. I'm going to, because this happened, I'm just going to share that with you now as a surprise. I wasn't planning on that, but there you go. It is called Christ Masters Speak or Christed Masters Speak, and I am trying to put to words in a nice story book what I went through with the Christ Masters in this lifetime, in real life, so that you can read about that and what that is, what that was, how that person to person meeting was, and what it means, and what it changed in me, how I got this initiation through it, and how that was very much like, yeah, like, an acknowledgement of what I can mean to you for the twin flame thing. And did you know that the twin flame thing is actually quote unquote only, or it is the flame thing is the real twin flame thing that I can pass on. It's the real deal, but in another sense, it's only quote unquote um an update on the true spiritual journey that I can pass on. And I try to bring you in a work in our collaboration, and in a work in a construction that belongs intimately together of tools and of deep meaning and whatnot. That is actually just a kind of a beautiful, magical soul curriculum. And the special thing is, in this lifetime, I managed to, because I do remember past lifetimes in which I was a spiritual teacher, and I did work with my true twin flame then as well as spiritual teachers. And that is now the same. Actually, I can't do it without him. That sort of came at the same time when I made come true the twin flame consciousness and the twin flame thing for real, for what everyone wants, which is actually the consciousness of harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state. Since I was there, I was working together with him in spirit, and I was able to pass everything on that far reaching level on the true spiritual journey that twin flames um, um, stand for. But in that past lifetime, the last lifetime that I remember, the 19th century, we did work together as spiritual teachers, but I did not reach that full consciousness of being able to be with him in all capacities. And that is what is able to be done right now through me having gone through, among others, this meeting with the Christ Masters, and the initiation to be able to pass that on. Now I'm writing a book about it. Starts with the moment right before the physical meeting, the actual like high point of it, and the day of the initiation that came to me, which was both physical and deeply spiritual. So I'm writing about that, and I'm just spending a little bit of time every day trying to bring that a tiny little bit further. I do every day, I do a tiny little bit because I do many more things every day. And I am at a time now in which it starts to come out. I start to get a grasp on what I'm going to do for real. Um, but it takes me a little bit. And I'm sort of going in this other atmosphere, but I also am working through some resistance that I have in wording this, in writing this book. This is not going to be the first book I ever written. I've been writing books as long as I can remember, and also that past life was full of writing incredibly thick books, like incredibly thick books. This is one of them. This is a past life book. How interesting. So this is a past life book that I wrote. How about that? This is also a past life book that I wrote, but 1/3 of it. There are two more of these anyway. So, but every project is a new project, and I need to like attune to it to know what the heck I'm doing. And I guess I was so much into that right now that I just completely lost that I was going to do something more today in these hours. Well, I always do a lot more every day, but like that I needed to pay attention and come online. So I'm really sorry if you had been waiting. But here I am, and the recording will be always awesome because in this Twin Flame Abundance Live, we talk about topics that help you heal your twin flame problems. And I am looking forward very much to you also interacting with me. Now, this is also the time is off now, so maybe we won't get much interaction, but nevertheless, here I am. I'm not sure if maybe the whole broadcast and or recording this time will be a little bit shorter, but here we are, and I will move forward every Saturday for the foreseeable time to do the same, so you can always come back during the whole summer and whatnot. So the chat is open. I will write in the chat now. So that's how I can know what your twin flame situation is, that I can provide an answer for you, right? And we're going to talk about the things today, again, in the order of first my talk about questions and topics. And I chose for the talk today what to do when your twin flame has another. And then we get to the next chapter, and that will be announcements. I will be talking about some things that you can participate in at these times that we're broadcasting right now, things that are coming up real soon and stuff, the announcements. Then we move on to the chapter of issues to heal. So, what are your topics? What are your questions in general? Give me your questions, why not? What is the situation that you're in with your twin flame right now, or not even with your twin flame, with yourself? That's always the most important thing. Give me a description of what it is, and maybe I can answer you. What you could do. Maybe I could advise you to go to an e-course, or advise you to start to do a certain key exercise with a certain entrance of step 1, and then you do the step 3, 4, 2, 3, 4 yourself. Or I could give you a tiny card reading, which I always love. They're so much fun. And that points you in a direction that will help you. So that will be issues to heal. And then in this broadcast, we will be moving on to the group healing. We'll be doing a small group healing with twin flame energy work that will help you, feel better in relation to the deeper core of union that you are and have. And it will be energetic in nature. And to make that work, I have actually invented a whole new energy system consisting of 9 points. And also, this time again, we will be looking at one of these energy points and go a little deeper in it. So, before we're going through all of that, we are going to get a card from the Manifest and Heal card deck, which is like a inspirational and healing card deck that I made myself on the base of this Twin Flame Energy Work 9-point system. Because it is important to understand that I actually stand for energy work to support going to Twin Flame Union, and then also the rest that comes afterward, doing the rest of the journey together, healing into everything that heart-wise, soul-wise belongs to you. And that is what your abundance really is. That's what the word abundance refers to. So yeah, that goes far beyond even Twin Flame Union that I can guide you to. And that is why these cards are here. I'm seeing a card. Divine Mother helps me always pick them. So we're going to read from the booklet, which is at this point still on my screen because it's not a printed book yet. There's always something to be desired for the future, like this when you write books and make card decks, but you can always make them better and make them be able to be distributed better in the future and stuff. Always something to look forward to, isn't it? So yeah, what was I saying? That's why I made this card deck, to help you do this energetic twin flame work. But what I found was why I invented this new 9-point energy system is that when you only do sort of energy work and in the old-fashioned ways of doing it, you get stuck in doing energy work and it doesn't catapult you forward towards your union, because that's where you want to go. So you need something that connects you clearly to the bigger whole, that not only your energy work is and healing and feeling better and etc. is a part of, but that is bringing you in connection with the bigger whole of the even more subtle than energy kind of a background, which is a spirit that you're part of and where your twin flame blueprint resides. And that is why this energy work, how I do it, is important and not other kind of energy work. All right. So this card deck belongs to that energy work, and you will hear that it often sounds a lot like mission, but mission is a pillar in union, just like the romance is in union as well. And we can hear it as mission, and we can hear the messages and the cards as union related. And the card is called, it's a silver card, the acknowledger, the affirmer, the manifestation, C1.4, generated value comes to light. So generated value comes to the light at this moment. So may this be a general indication of where you could feel yourself into. A generated value starts to come to the light. So maybe that is something that starts to bubble up from your heart that is actually a valuable thing, a valuable something that starts to come up, like, oh, this exists, okay. And maybe it is here in the in the in the nothing, it's like still invisible in a sense, but it is present and it is very valuable and it is eternal and it is loving and it is flowing, but it is invisible. And that is also what twin flame love is. I mean, it is sort of invisible, but it's so present. It takes you over almost, it's so tangible, but it is invisible. And that is so interesting. It's the most essential thing in life. It's the most present thing in life. It's the most healing thing in life. It's the most valuable thing in life. It's the most ascended thing in life that brings you, bam, in the highway to beyond ascension and how you can be there and feel there and have a money life there and a body life and a health life and a love life and a family life and a mission life and a work life, and have that all be the ultimate for you, because that is what that means, like beyond the ascension or in the direction of the ascension, the real ascension, not all kinds of funny business that people talk about and call ascension on the internet and whatnot, because we're really trying to talk about the real deal here. Well, I do talk about the real deal here. And well, that's a whole nother discussion, Maybe we get to talk about that more in the future. Who knows? That I personally have emotionally processed it enough right now to say it, which was really necessary. But when we talk about ascension, but also about spirituality in general, but uh, most of all about twin flames, it's just very saddening to me. It's it deeply it's deeply distraught to me that very, very, very many people that talk about that, and the group talking about it on YouTube, for instance, well, that's where we're now, is augmenting and augmenting and growing over the years. But the most of it is just not the real deal. And that is just so painful to me. Anyway, this is actually pretty much a tangent. So the real deal is invisible, but the real deal, it is the real value. Okay, now we go to the booklet and I will read for you. The book's chapter for this card is called The Void is Alive. Where earlier it looked like a void, now value has manifested itself. Sometimes that looks for the superficial onlooker still like an empty space. But that is far from true. Make come true manifesting of your harmonious twin flame union is a rooting deep into heaven, and this will form the steadfast soil for a quick and valuable growth of everything, including money, that you desire. Another example, making come true the fact that you are the expert for yourself. Acknowledging it makes the difference in your coming forward and making contact. You are now fully ready to claim that, and it makes your prices rise as well because you are creating a higher perceived value. This first example looks a lot more cloudy and dreamy than the second, the first, like harmonious twin flame union state of consciousness. And the second, I talk about mission and money, but it can be not only about if that doesn't play a role in your life, then it's still a valid card. So maybe translate it to something else, but that is much less dreamy and cloudy. It sounds more concrete often for our societal and social thinking, how we were programmed to think, because the second stands much closer to what is traditionally considered to be within the business and social realm. But both are true nevertheless, and only some examples more could be given. The void is actually alive. You are the one that brings it to life. You do this by connecting your heart with your true energetic value and make them speak through your soul by giving your feelings space to breathe. Not your emotions are at stake here, as they are reactions to things like anger, fear, or hilarity, but your feelings that are underneath that deeper, the home bringing soft feeling and touches that create your life. You are able to acknowledge the subtle movements of the feelings that are the building blocks of life. You can do this for yourself and for others. This is very valuable. You see people for who they really are. You see their growth and thus also bring them to see themselves. Oh, that's nice. That's what you can give to other people. When you can see them as the whole and the true person that they are, through your gaze at them, you heal other people because you bring them to see themselves. Well, what about bringing your twin flame to see themselves? You know, that's the alive way of relating to your true twin flame, because That is really love, isn't it? We often think that for love, oh, I am going to receive love. Um, but love comes from within, always. That is the foundational love that we're talking about here. And it is real. And it is the void that is real. And then it starts giving through you to the other, to the twin flame, to the relationship that you have together. And the other does that too. That is the relationship that twin flames have. And we often forget that because we think that it is like an ultimate love, but it must behave in the scheme, the pattern of this old idea of dating because you want to have the relationship to have some sort of, I don't know, self respect or something, or social respect. And you give so that you can get something returned, but it's not anchored into the deeper thing. You act, you give so that you get something in return, instead of you give because love bubbles up inside of you. That is just a very different model. But I just find more and more talking about the twin flame love and what it really is like you try to approach it from many angles. I try to talk about it from many angles, but it's just not sufficient or something. There's nothing that I can actually say that makes it truly be understood, because it's not something that is understood or that is in my behavior or in my words. It is between the words. It's the presence that's also between you and your twin flame. It's really hard to really describe how it really works, because it always sounds like, oh, but that could not be it, because it must be more deep but also more simple. And it's so it's all of what I ever talked about, but then actually not all of that, but something beyond it. And it's so what we talked about. I think recently, I don't know what, on in my videos or in the Facebook group, link below. You would be welcome. Where was it that we talked about this as well? Like, you can, what is it? um, like you can. Now I just lost it. What I was trying to say. Well, that's also interesting. Oh, cheers. Hmm. Well, now I lost the topic. Well, how interesting is that? Let's lose the topic, which is always the advice. Lose the topic, and then you'll fall into what it really is. Maybe that's just the topic of the day. Fall back into that which it really is. And yeah, personally, I feel so good these days. And I think that's also an element that is like a little bit dysregulating me these couple of days. Very strange. Just a tiny bit dysregulating to me, because I feel so good. Yeah, because since 2020, I came to the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union. Now, in my case, it was so, but it depends on your state of being really is at that point when you are there. For me, it was so that, well, I think for most people, a big healing wave will come up afterwards, because you have just, touched this new consciousness, and now everything in you and in your life will start to transform to go to that level, so to speak, right? So that's an enormous healing wave. And for me, that was coming together with the healing wave of healing my trauma. I actually was full of repressed trauma because I had been narcissistically and sexually abused as a child, um, which then on the soul level, that's a psychological level, and it was in my brain and in my nervous system, right? On the soul level, I apparently chose that to learn some lessons. These are different layers. They're both true at the same time. And in the harmonious union choice that I maintained afterwards was already baked in that I would go beyond all of these soul lessons. So I would, in the other layer, go beyond the psychological trauma. So, but that was an enormous healing wave. So I went through this healing wave of letting go of the content of my brain and the nervous system tension in my entire body, of the letting go of that trauma. And that choice is made at once or repeated all the time for yourself. You just choose that and choose it again and maintain that choice. But on the physical level, on the physical layer, there was a long time in which there was this release of all the content and all the memories that were faced. Like for the last time, before it's leaving, it's like on the way out. You see everything. I heard everything. I relived everything. I refelt everything, if that's a word. And that took a whole chunk of time. So that took a couple of years. So now I sort of moved out of that phase. And yeah, and that makes me truly, truly, deeply relaxed. But it's not only like, oh, now I resolved my trauma. That's beautiful. I'm now past all the letting go of all these things out of my nervous system and body and unconscious tension and like the repressed memories, and they're all seen, and because they're seen and worked through, they can like leave. That is the order of how things will go for you when you truly heal. And but I'm not like, oh, now I'm a healed trauma victim. That's very nice, but that's not it. It is actually that this all was released, and now I fall back into who I'm supposed to be as a spiritual healed person. And that is deeply relaxing and feels really good. And then that's almost too much. It's like, wow, that's almost too much to feel so good. So that's another thing I'm just dealing with these couple of days. So may that be inspiring. So now we talked about just some startup thoughts and the card to inspire you at the beginning of this video. And we're going to go to the first chapter actually. So here comes my bell for the first chapter. And that is going to be my talk. So the talk is about what to do when your twin flame has another. Well, maybe there's a lot to say about go to a very valuable void that is so valuable and let your whole life be fed through that. Let your whole life be filled in through that instead of looking at the outside world, looking at the person you think is your twin flame, or maybe you have already an acknowledged twin flame. I'm not sure, because we do that in when you come closer to me in a one-on-one relationship with me, in a coaching relationship, and we go deeper and deeper together. There comes a moment when we can both acknowledge the true twin flame together, because of the relationship with truth that is being inner seen there. And that comes up. That's beautiful. Some people may have that, some not yet. And yeah, so maybe you see the twin flame outside of yourself, and they are in another relationship that seems an intimate relationship with another person. And you start to see it and you start to focus on it and you start to feel bad because that's what you're seeing. And I think that's maybe already the whole point of my talk about what to do when your twin flame has another. They're dating another or coveting another or are married to another. Um, that is, don't see it in a sense. Well, it's good to check reality, okay? And within that physical reality, you can develop yourself to go to an even more purified place in your soul alignment with your source. And that is where you eventually start to unsee it. But we're not going to unsee it while we had never acknowledged the physical reality. That's not what we're doing here. That would be some sort of how do they call that? There's a name for it. Well, I can't come up with it now. Spiritual bypassing, maybe that's how they call it. Anyway, that's not what we do here. We can acknowledge what is the truth, and it's often good to really be faced with, confronted with what's going on there. But what we do is the inner work. I'll talk more about that. But what we do is the inner work. And that will eventually lead to, within that acknowledgement of the physical truth, doing the inner work, going deeper and deeper there in the direction of your true soul that is connected to your source. And the inner work is the thing that I stand for here, that we need to do here, that we do here, that there are all kinds of tools for that. Our relationship, when you come closer in a one-on-one coaching relationship, that's what it's for, to do your inner work. And you do your inner work under my guidance. And you need that relationship to be able to keep doing it and doing it in the right way and go in the right direction. When you do all that inner work, the direction of that, with having a twin flame that has another, the direction that you go with that is, and I'm not kidding you, so with taking into account the physical reality that you came from, but doing the inner work goes into the direction of unseeing it, not seeing it anymore. Not inner seeing it anymore, not inner seeing them anymore with another, because you have done your inner work, that is your upsets about the fact what you see, what the physical reality is, your upsets about it, the fact that it's meaningful to you, that you are angry and sad about it and grieving about it and wanting it different and whatnot. That is what you're working on until that is released completely. That is what you're working on until you're not upset anymore. Maybe you can still have the observation, but you're not upset about it anymore, because in your inner life, in your inner work, in your inner reality, you genuinely, without spiritual bypassing, have been going to the place where you unsee it, where you don't see it anymore, where you live in the full knowing and more in the energetic physical resonance of that, that is real, that makes it real for you, physical for you, that you know that nobody can ever come between you. That is not possible, because twin flames are 100% in the deep intimacy already together right now. And that is so interesting. Oh, I thought we talked about that last week as well. Yeah, that's going to be interesting, because we're also going to make something else. Another side note here, but here it goes. We're going to have a true podcast that I will be opening up later this summer. And yesterday we had a recording for that behind the scenes. And in that recording behind the scenes for the podcast, yeah, it's coming up. Prepare yourself. You will be able to go there real soon and listen to it. with many episodes and whatnot. Anyway, so we did talk about this phenomenon that in that podcast, yeah, that it seems so much as though that the twin flame relationship in the union space is already complete. It's already here. So when you reach that with the true twin flame, what you open up, what you unveil is that, gosh, this relationship is already done, complete here. It's already a river that is flowing here inside of me. It is already a river that is flowing inside of me. It is already working and functioning. I'm just tapping into it and making that my home next to the river. My permanent home is going to be next to that river. That is the big change. But I just uncovered that the relationship in the union space with my true twin flame is already a streaming river, and I just uncovered it. That's all. And yeah, you can choose to live beside that river. That's the big change. That these are the changes, and the resistance is to doing that, to moving next to the river. That's the resistance. That's your block. That's where your difficulty lies, and that's your inner work. That's what we can do together. That's why I co-create with you guys in a one-on-one private coaching relationship that also extends into just a group space in our Facebook group. Link below. You're welcome. And yeah, our other group spaces, such as here. This is actually also a group space in a sense. Of course, this is more like outside. The Facebook group is more like inside, more intimate in a sense. So this streaming river that is already here is already the intimacy that you are with your twin flame inside of, and it's already here. And nobody can come in between that river and the river. It's just one river in your union, and you're a part of it, and your twin flame is a part of it already. Nobody can come between that. It's not physically possible. It's not energetically possible. It's not spiritually possible. It's not source wise possible. It's not light possible. It's not love possible. It's just not possible. So the whole point is, and this is what I personally experienced. So don't get me wrong. I don't talk about things that I have no idea about, that have not been divinely guided for me, that I have not experienced myself, that I have not guided clients in. No, I talk about what has been revealed to me from the truth, from the Christ masters, from being in the right consciousness, from being in the initiated space of being a teacher that can pass this on, from having gone through it myself and having guided clients through it myself, and having seen many friends move through such things, and also having seen many people unsuccessfully move through it. So not move through it, right? So like getting lost. And that is actually very educational when you would want to see it from that perspective as well. But when you would do what I thus indicate and in relationship with me as a client, etc., then I will guarantee you that it will work for you. I mean, that's what I can guarantee. But my whole experience, why I say these things, also includes seeing from a distance sometimes very many people go astray there, and for them to not succeed. And that's what I mean with that's educational also, when you're a twin flame teacher that God initiated to say to you, please pass this on. That's what Divine Mother told me. I would never have come up with these lives or videos or coaching formats that I developed over the years that are the official coaching ways for right now. I would have never done that if Divine Mother herself had not pushed me forward and forward and forward and forward. Oh man, she almost had to kick me forward because I was very reluctant, but here I am. And the whole point is that I noticed from my own experience that when you start to work on that, you are seeing before you them with another, and you start to work on your inner work about it, it will resolve, because it resolves in you, and it will also resolve in them because you are at the core one. And the resolving story is, yes, doing the correct inner work, yes, with the right community, yes, with the right teacher, yes, with the right tools, etc., and keep on going, and don't move back. Keep on moving forward, um, etc. The direction of that is, cannot be any different than that you go to a place where you unsee it. You don't see it anymore. You know that you are one stream that is so intimate that you can't separate that even one or the other. Is you're one stream flowing through union. And that is already what you are. When there is someone else in the game, um, that is only going to be resolved by you doing the inner work. You do it for yourself and therefore for them also, because at the core you are one. You do invest everything that you are and have into it for yourself and therefore for the union, because at the core you're one. And you will have your own insights, what is happening there, that this was so, that this was seemingly so, that there was seemingly someone else, etc. So, for instance, in my case, I came to learn that, well, this is going to sound really interesting. I got to know that I was actually very blind for the fact that I was having other people and but mostly other illusions all the time. So you see, so you could say, but he has another. What an ass. No, I was super blind for the fact that I had someone else all the time, because I was looking around for someone else and I was like attached to illusions about other people, because I was mildly obsessed by the idea to have a partner, because I was sort of traumatized in the direction of that you needed to have this partner to be socially and societally respected. That was like how I was raised in my family. And it was so psychologically off that there were some things going on that made me in some ways obsessed and delusional about love relationships. And that was sort of unconsciously playing out here and there. And that's what I held on to fill in this idea that was the truth in my heart, that I was called to the true twin flame by the divine. That was true. And I also made it come true. But in the meantime, I was holding on to these illusions and being torn in all these directions. And I was not able to see that I was having thus other people all the time. How interesting. So maybe that could be for you as well. So I could very much understand that you don't have that we just have like these blind spots, like for ourselves. Like, how is that possible? But it is really possible. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. So because the twin flame mirrors something that is happening in you, yeah, he did have another. Although practically speaking, I was actually sort of all this time sort of alone, actually. But I was holding on to the idea of other people and stuff a lot. And I was maybe not really available truly yet, because I still had to move through this trauma episode, really reliving it so that it completely and utterly believes not, oh yeah, I understand it now and I can talk with other people about psychological phenomena. That's cool. Well, that can be cool and it can be part of things. I'm not denying that, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is completely gone, because that's also what happens on a correct lived spiritual journey, and especially twin flame spiritual journey, which is what this is, if whether you are acknowledging that or not. And that is what happens. This true trauma healing happens too, and that still had to happen for me fully and completely, and that was part of the thing. And another insight on my third party situation, what to do when my twin flame has another, that's what we're talking about, was clearly that the insight that it was not what I just talked about, with so many words, with this river metaphor and whatnot over and over, that it was it was not true. Nobody could come between us. He did have another one, but that person was not standing between us, because he wasn't really relating with her. You can be you can sign so many contracts, but are you really relating to this other person? Are you really invested with this other person? Are you really believing with all your heart and soul in that relationship? Well, maybe the answer is no. My insight eventually was divinely guided, that my true twin flame did have his heart closed. So, did he even have another? Well, maybe the physical reality was physically moving close with another person on a daily life basis. But is that indeed having another when your heart is actually closed? No, that is not what that is. So that's what I uncovered. And it is actually also very healing to have moved through all these perspectives in this whole journey. I mean, I did go this whole journey through it all, like, oh, I felt so bad, so much like a home wrecker and like an awful person, and I felt like an uh like a sick person, and I felt like a prostitute, and I felt like this and that, and all this phenomenon and projections and social statuses that I felt coming projected onto me, or like sort of coming out of my pores, in another sense. And like, is this me? I feel sick about myself. Is this me? I feel sick about myself. And moving through all of these things, which was actually just part of doing the inner work that I already needed to do anyway. So that is another way of seeing why the true twin flame has another, because he shows you something that you can heal inside of yourself, and you can actually be very, very grateful that it is shown you, because that's what you wanted. I wanted to be shown something through which I could remove all these demons out of my field. And I had all these demons in my field, and these demons were about, oh, I am an awful person, I am a prostitute, I'm a whore, I'm a home wrecker, I'm disrespectful, I'm disrespectful to other people, and that was all in me. It was like in my soul or something, all these ghosts, that were actually like demons, and they needed to be freed out of me. And the twin flame helped me do that, among others, by having this other person and me going at a certain moment in the journey when things really got close and almost to harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state, which is this all about, and really got close to this is the time when it counts, this is the projection that counts, this is the confrontation that counts. That's what I'm actually trying to say. The confrontation that counts. That was the time when all these demons had to sort of vibrate out of me, and I had to be confronted with my own demons there. And that was the work. Well, to go to harmonious twin flame union. And that was the work that I needed to do anyway. That was the work for me to be able to open my heart and love. Love, just love, divine love, feel divine love. Fall back into you see, that's what we said at the beginning of this live. Fall back into the foundational love. That was the work that I had to do, to fall back into this foundational love. And he triggered that out of me. How loving is the true twin flame? Do you understand? But we're not going to keep it here. We're in on the bigger whole. We're absolutely on the journey to be everything to each other that we can be, and in a loving way. Loving to all parties included. So this is also never a judgment about other people that in the physical um interpretation of these kinds of situations are still physically there, and it's not that you're going to slap them in the face or something. No, absolutely not. You are moving through all of this in the inner world so that it can all fall into place in a most loving way for all the physical players in the physical reality. That is what it is about. So that reality itself, that means the divine itself, can work the situation out in the most peaceful way possible that you couldn't even come up with yourself. And then when we've said all of that, it's not that you don't claim them. It's you do the inner work. That is absolutely it. But that doesn't mean that you're never going to claim them, that you're never going to use your voice to make your presence known and to just phrase what really is that your true intentions are. Because, well, even when you look at it like with the eyes of social programming and trying to be kind only, then still you do have a voice, and you always have the right to express where you are standing and what your true intentions are, standing firmly on the ground of foundational divine love. And you are allowed to say that. You are allowed to take in space with your body and your energy body and your voice, and your expressing what the truth is. So that came around for me as well, and that can come around for you too, that there is also a time and a moment to state that. And also, that doesn't mean that everything is necessarily with a finger. How do you say that? Snatch? That's not the word. What is the word? Anyway, English. It's not my native language. It's not in a second done or something, but these are all elements that can be done. And you can also uncover for yourself what that you can learn so many things about that one. You can heal so many things in yourself with that one. Standing up for yourself, no matter what the circumstances is, taking in space, allowing yourself to stand in divine foundational love and what that means for you. Choosing the one choice that you have to make, that you do make, that you did make, that you maintain for the rest of eternity, that you choose the true twin flame. Right. So that's all also a thing. Maybe you didn't even, maybe you have a situation, my twin flame has another, but you didn't even choose them yet, no matter the circumstances, for the rest of eternity. Well, do that one. And how deeply healing is that for you to go that journey in choosing that, in making that choice and maintaining that choice until you feel that it goes all the way from your voice saying that I choose, whether he's standing or she is standing right in front of you or not. You just state it anyway. all the way through your entire being until you're fully aligned with that into the divine itself, that you choose to be with the true twin flame forever after in eternity. Amen. Did you already do that and mean it? You understand? Don't you think that something might change from that choice? And I don't say that lightly at all. Personally, I chose that through the circumstances that were strongly against doing this. I don't know if you're a woman and how old you are, but maybe you could nevertheless some sort of understand when I, in a couple of words, give you the idea that I would like to have a family and I'm over 40 years old. So to say that you choose the true twin flame no matter what forever after is quite a statement when people that are attuned to their physical life instead of their spiritual core would find it unthinkable to not go for the physical realization of the idea of family as priority. So, what I'm saying is, have you prioritized it against all odds? I did. You understand? So, and that pays itself because so many beautiful healings have been brought into my life by allowing that angle to become true in me and do the healing that it does in me, all related to what to do when your twin flame has another. And within the true work of going to the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union, what I teach and pass on and beyond. And all of that integrated into a spiritual work and a spiritual life that is just the life that brings you the abundance in all directions: health, money, mission, work, partnership, love, just love, just love. And you just become like I feel now, just overwhelmed by feeling good. Yeah. So interesting. Would it pay itself off? Oh my gosh. I mean, the question even, it more than pays itself off. It is beyond being paid off. There's nothing beyond aligning with your true soul presence. There is nothing beyond aligning with, it is maybe invisible, but there's nothing with aligning, nothing more, nothing better than aligning with the invisible presence. There's nothing like it. Guaranteed, hands down. This, there is nothing like it. It does produce everything your heart truly desires. And my underlying values could be answered in so many ways when you think of it, that are still in alignment with the core, the true twin flame. The only alignment that really makes me truly happy in eternity. All right. So these were a lot of things about what to do when the twin flame has another. So you do the inner work to the degree that you don't feel upset anymore yourself. You claim them, and you also choose to be with them no matter what. You prioritize that eternally ever after. You go to the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union. It is only logical that for all of these things, you need the true twin flame tool within the true body of coaching work for true twin flames in the right community with the right teacher, with accompanied with the group atmosphere that we have here, a one-on-one relationship with your teacher too. That is only logic to need that and want that. The true twin flame work is, when you want to do that as homework, I invite you to do the key tool. I explain online on all my socials and in videos, etc., how to do the 4-step key tool. I have 2 versions of it. And a secret third version that we can do when we are in a coaching relationship that is further along the line. I can move you through the third version of the key tool that I was given permission from the Christ Masters to do that. And that is the version that heals trauma. You can start with your own homework, with your own key tool. You can just start doing it, trying it for yourself, no problem. The most resources and like videos about it and whatnot are in the Facebook group. So you're invited to come practice it there. You can also write posts in the Facebook group about how it is going for you, of course. That would be awesome. In the twin flame inner work, a key thing is that it is about a turnaround. And that is often resistance provoking. That is about a turnaround, turning your emotions around to inner feelings, to inner qualities that you already own, and stand on it so that you can build yourself up from your inner foundation with true positive elements, piece by piece by piece. Build yourself up in your true version again, which is the version that you are in your harmonious twin flame union. And the second version, turning around everything that you point towards them and to the world, towards yourself, and seeing what that gives you, and taking that serious for a moment to research if this can be true and how it can be true, and then loving yourself at the place that points out where you apparently need a lot of love because there's a deep pain there. And the third version that I'm not going to disclose here. Yeah, there is the turn around in it. And that often brings a lot of resistance up for people. That's a point. That's a problem. And that is why simply do the inner work can be difficult for people. And that is understandable, but also overcomable. Is that a word? Able to be overcome. Certainly when you work with a teacher. Some people indicate that doing the twin flame inner work is very overwhelming for them. But what I see that happens is that people open themselves, sometimes for the first time ever, up and like fall in this enormous moving vortex of all kinds of feelings that have not been processed. Sometimes for the first time, and they feel as though they're drowning. But that is just halfway. And what people maybe have the tendency to do is they want to crawl back to where they came from, because there at least they were not in this enormous dizzying thing, vortex full of feelings and emotions that is overwhelming them. But that's not what is supposed to be done. What you're supposed to do is, yes, open yourself for the deeper thing. Yes, if there is a whole bunch, like an unoverseeable, enormous bunch of new, dizzying, never acknowledged feelings and emotions, that is very understandable, and you're going in the right direction. But you're not supposed to stay there. You're supposed to move to the other side where you're sobered up and where you feel good and grounded. And sometimes we just stand at the before stage and we think we're pretty grounded, but we're actually really not. And you don't realize that about yourself, because you're only really grounded when you're through it to the other side. And that's where you can ground with the right alignment to the divine. And that's what the true spiritual twin flame inner work is supposed to do. It can be difficult to move through it all to the complete other side, where you are grounded and in alignment and not overwhelmed by vortexes of emotions. And that is understandable. And that is why there is a teacher. And you need a relationship to be able to do that. So that was also some experiences that I saw. All right. I think we're going to try to move on to a new chapter. Because my lives are divided in chapters. We go from the talk to the announcements, and after the announcements, we go to issues to heal. And that's when you tell me about what your current issue is or your current, I don't know, situation, and we try to find a way to heal that for you with you. And then the last one will be the group healing. All right. So the announcements are, yes, we have the mission reading. Mission is such an underrated, undervalued, unknown pillar of twin flame inner work because it is the love that starts to vibrate in your heart outward, and how that takes shape. Maybe in later stages, but you can already feel it coming from where you are, right? If you do the right twin flame inner work and stuff. And when you already start to feel what that is, before it has crystallized into a whole mission that can grow into work or even a mission business and whatnot. Already from where you're right now, you start to sense what that is. That's enormously helpful to get into union. Did you know that? That's a very unknown, beautiful, helpful pillar of twin flame work. To help you do that, I can guide you in very many ways, in coaching and all kinds of things. But I also have the creative identity reading, because your creative identity is your soul identity that you are going to have when you are in harmonious twin flame union. And that is the vibration that you are going to exude there. The creative identity reading means that I will make for you a report of many pages long, that goes via a template that I have, in which I give you all kinds of suggestions how you can augment that kind of an mission attuned inner heart feeling inside of yourself with magic, with really cool magic things that you can take on. And I can give you insight into how the inner attunement, the inner relationship between you and your true twin flame is organized in your union in mission. I can give you ideas in how to develop in that direction much more. And what kind of spiritual beings currently vibe with you in that for that, so that they can assist you. And much more. And that's all in a reading. And this reading is going to be lowered in price until Monday, upcoming Monday, July 8th, end of the day. I will leave the link to this reading in the description box. Well, after I made the recording, but we're now in a live, Petra. So let me give you, there we are, the link in the chat right now. There it is. There is the link to that reading, the creative identity reading, significantly lowered in price until Monday upcoming from, I think, from 111 euro to 88 euro. What a chance to order yours right now. Other announcement. Yeah, come to the Facebook community. That would be so awesome, because all the things that are coming out, and like small events and meditations and readings that are of a lowered price, and new events coming up and whatnot, and asking questions and resources about the key tool for twin flame inner work. Everything is very easily at hand from the Facebook community. That's really our living room, and you are invited. So come over. When you are in the Facebook community, you can phase yourself into a one-on-one coaching relationship with me, That asks for a little bit of an investment from your side. And the advice is to work yourself up to giving yourself that in short meetings with me every week so that we can have a relationship in which we can make everything come true that you come for. And that is the cheapest way to do that. It is like very close by, very easy. It's exclusive for Facebook group members. So hop over and try it out. But when you are like, no, I want to go for real, I want to have the full deal, I'm an important person, and that's why I have very important person sessions, the VIP sessions. And they also exist so that you can once in a while get my attention. 2 hours long, plus preparation time before we even start, plus afterwards. I send you theories and workbooks for working further on what we have worked on spiritually, but also relationally and logically, business wise, sometimes health wise, twin flame wise. The VIP session really makes me get everything out of the closet that you could ever need at that moment. 2 hour long sessions. Go to the description box below. Strategy session is how we get to know each other and phase you into the VIP session. Yes, and then we get the 8-8 ritual this summer in this northern hemisphere. It is summer now. I will be doing a twin flame nature ritual again. I think nature. Well, at least it will be a magical ritual. I will design it the coming days, weeks, and it will take place on August 8th because 8-8 is such a magical date. And for at least 9 years long already, I have organized on August 8th the 8-8 portal, if you will, ritual in which you can add your twin flame healing intentions and they will be taken in by the universe and it will strongly push you forward in your healing goals. So we're going to do that again real soon. More news to come. Keep posted. Come to the Facebook community to prepare. All right. These were the announcements. Now we're going to go to issues to heal. So, do you have questions? Do you have situations with your twin flame? Please let me know. Please let me know, because otherwise, I don't know what to talk about. Well, we can talk about what to do when your twin flame has another, right? That was, of course, the topic of the whole episode of today. So I think we talked a lot about what to do when your twin flame has another and issues to heal. So when you would do a key exercise, version 1, for yourself about what to do when your twin flame has another, it would sound like this. Key version 1, step 1. I am upset because my twin flame has another, and that makes me feel disrespected. It must be true for you, right? I don't know. You make a sentence in this structure. You can write it down, very helpful. It must be true for you. Do feel your feelings. And not numb out. So I am upset. Maybe it sounds differently. Maybe it sounds like I am upset because my twin flame is dating around, and that makes me feel fucked, right? So that already sounds as if you're pretty angry. And in key version 1, step 2, you are allowed to express this anger. And that's so awesome because we go from getting it clear in your mental space, stating it in this structure. We go in your energy body, in your body, down, and you sort of stop around the stomach area. And you are allowed to state what you want with anger if need be, including that area of your body very much, stating what you want. So that could be, but it is about you. You need to state what it feels like to you. Yeah, I just want to be respected with boundaries in the right place. Boundaries around the relationship with him and me, and not social boundaries placed somehow strangely not respecting this one union that is always here. Doubtlessly true. I want to have boundaries correctly placed. So, and then you go even deeper. And again, it needs to be true for you. It doesn't matter what I say, it needs to be your words that are not words. They need to coincide with what you actually feel right now. So now you're going to feel deeper underneath the stomach area. You go deeper in your pelvis, in your hip area, in your belly, and you just allow yourself to have more space underneath it. So more space underneath this anger, underneath this statement of key version 1, step 2, because we're going to key version 1, step 3, and we're going to feel there if we have an answer to the question, what do I desire here? What do I long for here? And it is something that I can feel underneath this. I want to have boundaries in the correct way. Is there more space underneath it? What do I actually long for here? And it needs to be something that is true for you, that you feel. But I'm going to give an example. Yeah, I feel like I long to honor myself. I long to honor myself in life fully and completely. Like, no matter the consequences, I long to honor myself with like boundaries that like benefit me, something like that. Because I'm just a worthy human being, not because I'm super duper important, more important than other people, but because I am, and I deserve to be respected by myself. And that is the only way I can mean something for you, for other people. So I long to honor myself. That's what I felt. That was the short version of it. Awesome. I long to honor myself. I feel that. I feel that. And I feel that the space in me is starting to change. Like the atmosphere of being angry is like changing all around me, like my whole aura or something. My energy field is changing. Maybe I felt like all kinds of, before in step 2, I felt all kinds of like floating around, all kinds of still lingering remnants of anger about situations of my childhood and of situations that we're still closing off, about earlier situations in my earlier life and whatnot. And like, oh, this is a theme. And yeah, and it's still like going to this new place. And I feel like these energies like move now. That is the whole point of doing the key exercise. And then when I feel like I long to honor myself, I feel myself um, center again, focus again on myself in a healthy, beautiful way, in the right way, in a good way, in a way that is like honoring me. It feels focused, like in my intimate area, in my and like safe, in my safe space. That there is space in my belly where I can breathe, and but that space is also safe. It is boundary, not in an overdrive, not in a way of, oh, I'm so important. Not in a normal way, in a way that is like just encapsulating this value that is there, that is just keeping it beautiful together. And it's just like carrying it as a valuable gem or something, yeah, inside of me. So that's where I got with this. And then we go to key step version 1, step 4. And in step 4 we are going to um take what we had in step 3. And because that is something I long for, something I desire, I somehow already need to know what it is, apparently, because I phrased it. So somehow I already know what it is to honor myself. Well, I was describing that the result was already starting to happen in my energy and stuff. That's what I was describing to you. So that was already like the energetic version of step 2 was already happening to me, because this is not only answering questions in 4 questions in the key exercise. It's something that really happens with you, in you. And in sessions with me, I can guide you through it, right? Then you don't need to bother with the questions or whatnot. I will just move you through it. That's how we can co-create. But now I'm just demonstrating to you what it is. So I must already somehow know what it is to honor myself when I say that I long for it, because otherwise I could never have phrased that phrase. So that means that it does have a logic explanation. How cool is that? That means that apparently I already have it somehow, somewhere, because otherwise I could never have known that this existed, that I could long for it. Otherwise, I could never have longed for it or desired it. So, and now in step 4, I'm going to take this, what I said in step 3, and state it as that I already have it. I just wipe away all doubt about it and I say, yes, I already have it. Here we are, here we go. And yeah, that's it. And I'm going to feel it out, what it feels like when I state that I already do have it. So that is going to be key version 1, step 4. And you can use the phrase from step 3, that is, I honor myself, then you use the exact same phrase. I honor myself. But you can also be a little more free with the words and feel what it really means, and then make a statement. And feel what it feels like to make that statement. And yes, that is then finally a little bit of an affirmation, but it is an affirmation that you have now made come true for real. After the twin flame inner work, the real twin flame inner work, after the real turnaround of the real twin flame inner work, you see, and then you affirm this, because just an affirmation, that doesn't do that much. But this one is an affirmation that you have worked through and that you have arrived, you have earned it. So it is, I honor myself, but I can take it more in and feel it more out and be more free in the wording and say it how I feel it. I am a person that honors herself with correct boundaries that are loving and that give space to other people to come in and relate with me so that we can enjoy our relationship on the right basis. And I'm so looking forward to share that with you. That's how I honor myself. That feels good. Yeah. And it also feels, now I open my eyes and feel the result of this clarity. That feels like this is how I want to be with my twin flame. This is like the sane way to be with my twin flame as well. Awesome. I love it. So now I really feel like, I forgot. I forgot the whole story about I'm upset because of the other person. And I'm just a person here. This is the person. This is the person that is honoring herself and therefore able to be in relationship with other people. That's the real deal. I'm the real deal. I am the real deal now. Love it. So that is the way you could heal, what to do when your twin flame has another. And we are going to move on to the group healing of this Twin Flame Abundance Live recording. Next chapter. And we're going to work with the energy point of the twin flame energy system, how I talked about it before. And it will be energy point number 2. And it will be all about self-acknowledgement. And I am in the course of making for all the energy points and also for all the cards, actually, from the whole Manifest and Heal card deck that I have worked with as well, because there were actually also cards for the energy points in that deck. But I'm redesigning them all at this moment because I want to make them even more nice and better. And this is the new version that will be the card for energy point 2 in that Manifest and Heal card deck. And as you can see, it is really about grounding and finding underground your gemstones and seeing, acknowledging that you are doing that yourself with your inner eye with wings, overseen by the angels, and a beautiful warm sun behind the angel as well. The sun has come up in your energy system because this energy field number 2, energy point number 2, is located, well, it is located in the universe in general, connected to the healing system that I work with, but it is also anchored into your personal energy field that is in and around your body. And that is, well, one is underneath you, under the ground, under your feet, in the earth. It's like an elongation of you in the earth. And 2 is the first personal space moving from your feet up in yourself. This is yourself. And then it starts with seeing your roots, yourself, the start of you, the basics of you, the foundation of the you in this energy body, in this body on the earth. And that is going to be the feet, the legs, and the lowest point of your torso, which is also called the perineum, because that is where the skin and is like tied together to hold all the organs up. And that is a very powerful point. It's like the lowest point of your torso, which is like the main physical and energetic chunk, of what we physically and energetically are. It's all happening here, and of course the head. So that is the lowest point of that. The perineum is located between the anus and the genitals, and it is also exactly the midpoint of that. So that's like the physical place, right? It's very basic. It consists of much of like muscles actually that are very strong because they have to keep this seam closed and all the organs up. Yeah, why am I getting so much into the physicality? I don't know. Anyway, it is really about your foundation. I mean, you walk, you stand on your legs. It's your foundation that holds up the chunk of what you are, your torso, your legs are so important. They should anchor you strongly into the ground, and it is about all standing strongly for what you are, who you are, etc., etc. About taking in space and having a foundation for that you contribute with your voice and with relationships and whatnot, with your creativity. So that is really what it is about. And it is about seeing yourself in that, and that the divine sees you in that power. And the angels are helping you because grounding, as we said before in this recording, is really about going through the movement of being in the total vortex of emotions and then moving to the other side of it, not crawling back to the first side, moving to the other side of it, and then being spiritually purified there, you can finally truly ground. So we are going to, I think we're going to give ourselves some grounding underneath the question what to do when your twin flame has another, because we started out with this whole question already with saying, if I remember it correctly, that you need to, when you have this question in your life, in your twin flame journey, you need to go back to you and do your inner work to such a degree that you just stand for yourself genuinely, and to the degree that you unsee that that is even happening in your inner eye, in your inner space. So that needs a lot of true grounding, not halfway grounding and crawling back. True grounding. That needs a lot of true grounding, a lot of true work on the substructure of what you are so that you can fall back onto that, translate it to the energetic physical space. So that's what we're going to feel out together. So I invite you to do this little meditation together. You can close the door for a moment, 10 minutes, something like that, 15 minutes. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, sit down, and just let's be together. Maybe you want to remember the beautiful picture that I made of the ground and the brown and red tones and the gemstones in the earth and the eye with wings floating above it and the angel in the sky. And this is all an image that is you. It is your body now sitting down with your legs that we're going to focus on, and your feet, and your lowest point of your torso, your perineum, is all that ground. And it is seeing it. And it is about being protected there with the angel. And it is about having wings there so that you at the same time anchor into that raw ground and have wings and be free there. We're committing to being here, feeling ourselves, our substructure, and at the same time feeling that we are free to be here, free to stand on our own legs, free to feel our legs. We're going to not stand at this moment. We stay seated for a moment for this meditation. But that was like the spirit of it. So let's, while we're sitting, indeed feel. Do you have a relationship with your feet? Feel them now. Do you feel them now? Interesting question, right? Do you even feel your feet? And I mean, now it's not about a fantasy. It's about really feeling them, you know? You consist of all these parts, hands and feet and torso and whatnot, but just to have the sensation that you have a relationship with that now, with your feet now. The soles of your feet, do they touch your couch or your floor or the carpet, the inside of your shoes? Do you feel that? The soles of your feet? Do you have a feeling, connection there? Such an important question. Are your feet cold? Do they feel warm or in between? Do you feel if the soles of your feet are energetically open or are they energetically closed? Just to become aware how you are attuned between yourself, between this energetic space number two and the earth energetic space number one. How is that relationship going there? Maybe you want to invite yourself to open your feet, the soles of your feet, just just with the intention of opening them up. You don't need to visualize that, although that's not forbidden, but it is about really giving the permission to open energetically right now. Whether you see it in your mind's eye or not, it's just about really feeling the soles of your feet. That doesn't even require a mental image, it's just actually directly feeling. Just give permission so that you can open energetically towards the floor. And you can trust that the earth that is underneath it can catch everything that might now be flowing out of the soles of your feet. Maybe it comes from within your energy system, from within your torso, from within your brain, from within your hips, from within your chest, from within your legs, and it flows down through your legs towards the soles of your feet. And there it's going to be released into the earth through the open soles of your feet because you have energetically opened them. And just let that happen for a moment. And maybe that changes something in you, in where your gravity point feels, in how quiet you are, in how deeply you feel, in how peaceful you are. A change. So just a moment to get rid of everything that was accumulated in your head, in your shoulders, in your hands, in your arms, in your chest, in your belly, in your hips, in your legs, in your knees, in your ankles, and just let everything that was accumulated as extra tension that you don't need, you can let that flow now through the legs down to the earth, through the open soles of your feet. And that can change something inside of you. It can bring more peace. And just take a deeper breath or become aware of the breath. And maybe your body starts to want to sit slightly differently from this. I also feel like, oh, I want to sit slightly differently. And that can just come to you. Just let it come. Oh, I just slightly alter my sitting pose because this feels more peaceful now. Awesome. And then also feel the rest of your feet and feel your ankles and feel your lower legs and have feeling attention for your knees. And then to have some feeling attention for your upper legs. And then have some feeling attention for your actually sort of the legs of your hips. This is going to sound funny, but we actually have sitting bones. And they're like as if they are feet of the hips itself. That's what you're sitting on your couch or on your chair. And these are sort of very short feet-like structures that you're sitting on. And just acknowledge them as well. So concrete, this bone structure. Very good to connect with it. And breathe a little deeper or become aware of the breath. And maybe you still want to sit even differently because of the attention to your substructure, your legs. And sometimes the spine wants to adjust itself to sit even more relaxed. And then allow yourself these tiny adjustments to sit more relaxed. And feel the breath. And then we're going to feel our feeling relationship with the perineum itself, the place where your entire torso is knit together and where there is so much muscle strength to keep your whole torso closed and all these valuable, very valuable um, organs into place. What a beautiful power to carry all of that, and let's honor that place with our loving attention while still feeling your breath. And let's do visualize. Let's now do consciously visualize for a moment. Let's say that this place of the hips where the perineum is and where it is you are stitched together underneath your torso from both sides together in one seam. And that place where you made a connection with that is so basic, so carrying everything, you are going to visualize as if there are actually two hands that are coming together there to carry you. And they are touching each other with the tops of the fingers. And these are the hands of your guidance angel. Visualize the hands of your guiding angel to support you exactly where your perineum is, as two hands that come together and touch with the fingers towards each other. And feel if the hands of your angel are cold or warm. Do they have a color? Are they light blue or dark red or something completely different? Just feel it out. And then let all the weight of your entire head and shoulders and chest and belly and all your bones, let it sink into the hands of your angel. Just let yourself sink into it. You don't need to hold anything up anymore. Just sink into the hands of the angel because they can carry you. They can carry anything. Every worry that you have, every pain that you have, every twin flame, seemingly unresolvable third party problem they can carry there, exactly at that space. And let the hands of your guidance angel carry all of that weight of you and let everything sink into it. All your weight, the weight of your worries, the weight of your pains, let it sink into it by feeling the breath and letting your physical weight down on the hands of the angel that carries you. Take another breath. Feel the breath wherever the breath goes. And then your guidance angel suddenly takes you up from your chair, from your worries, from the heaviness, and starts to lift you up. He starts to lift you up in the air because he carries all your weight and all your worries. You are able to be lifted up so easily, like a feather, and you are raised up higher and higher above the house, above the trees. You are now, and you go higher until you are in the clouds. You are like a bird, and your guidance angel carries you. And free as a bird, you breathe deep, and you feel the presence of your angel so intimately close by that your heart starts to open up against the heart of the angel. And all around is the open, free air of the clouds in the sunshine with beautiful weather. And the stars are also out at the same time. It's like day and night at the same time. And you feel very close to the heart of your angel that still carries you. And this intimacy together that you feel with your angel then merges into one. You are the angel. The angel has become you. And from this merging, a spiritual purity and clarity comes over you and washes you in the sunlight and in the shine of the stars at the same time. And you breathe deeper and you feel so cleansed and purified. And slowly, cleansed and purified, you start to fly lower. You feel the gravity of the earth looming again in the distance. And you start to go back to the height of the tops of the trees. And then you go to the tops of the houses. And then you float back into the space where you were sitting. And then you start to merge back with sitting on your couch, on your chair, or wherever you are sitting. And you start to feel again how you sit on the chair, on the couch. You feel the perineum, your foundational space, and how concrete it is, and how cleansed, and how peaceful. And you feel the sitting bones with which you are sitting on your couch or chair, and you feel your upper legs and your knees and your lower legs. You feel your ankle and all the tiny bones in it, and you feel your feet and your toes and all the nails and bones inside of it. And you feel the soles of your feet and how they are connected to the ground. And you open the soles of your feet and the ground starts to give back to you. And you receive everything that the earth wants to give you now in the form of light. And you let it come in to the feet, through the ankles, through the lower legs, through the knees, through the upper legs, through the hips, through the belly, through the spine, through the chest, through the rib cage, through the heart, through the shoulders, through the upper legs, through your elbows, through your lower arms, through your hands, through your fingers, through your fingernails, through your neck, through your skull, through your eyes, through your nose, through your tongue, through your ears, through the top of your head, where the light spreads back into the air where you were just a couple of seconds ago, where you felt so carried and so free. And you take a deep breath. And you feel the result of all of this traveling. And you may want to thank yourself for this little traveling and healing guidance. And to thank yourself, you may want to rise your hands up a little bit until they are in front of your chest and place the palms of the hands towards each other very gently, not pushing, the fingers closed. And maybe you want to put your thumbs against your chest as a gesture of oneness and thanking yourself. Thank you. Thank you for having traveled together a little bit. It is healing meditation with energy field number 2. Thank you. Maybe you want to lower your head until your lips touch your tips of your fingers, which is an extra gesture that means gratefulness. Yeah, and if you feel like it, raise your head again and breathe a little deeper or feel your breath and let the hands move out of each other again and rest on your upper legs or wherever they are, feeling relaxed. And very slowly and gently open your eyes and come back to the video where we were together. Yeah, following along the meditation with energy field number 2 for a moment. And now it's over, and I will show you the image again from the energy field. There it is. This is where we travel together. I hope you can feel the healing power of it and how it is inside of you now, that healing power. And I hope that gives you what you needed at this moment with the question what to do when your twin flame has another, to relocate yourself completely in your soul, where you, if you work through all the emotions that you have about it, eventually arrive without spiritual bypassing in the reality of that you don't see that anymore, because you only inner see that you are one with your twin flame and that nobody can ever come between that. And then reality, the physical reality, will follow suit. So I hope this helped. And this is the end of our broadcast for today, the Twin Flame Abundance Live. And I will see you again next week in the Twin Flame Abundance Live. Don't forget to make notes of your situations that you want to ask me about next time, because then I can hear your input and we can more and more, perhaps, if it starts to work like that, yeah, customize these lives, right? That would be awesome. And I will see you soon in other videos, in our Facebook group, in our private sessions, in the readings for you, and in the later 8-8 ritual on August 8th. So many options. I hope we can talk and exchange soon about you. I'm looking forward to that. I truly do, because I'm just really grateful, that you guys are here. We reached 500 subscribers around 4 months ago, approximately. I was really proud of that, but of course, we're still a very, very small community here on YouTube. But I think it's awesome. I celebrate you that you're here and know that you are very welcome and very valued. I appreciate you. All right. See you soon. I'm going to say goodbye now. Lots of love from Petra.